which is the greatest quality of knighthood? Courage, passion, loyalty, humility?
Truth. That's it. Yes, it must be truth. Above all, when a man lies, he murders some part of the world. T-R-U-T-H, brothers putting down this truth in a true way. Mama's crying, niggas dying, the last days. So we coming T-R-U-T-H. As we turn another Bible page, cowards get devoured in this foreplay. Not enough oxygen for those who move in gay ways. Sun rays burn away the inferior exterior. Words become superior. Once we mirror the reflection and of the all-seer. Anxiety shows the fear, which they cover with leaves of possession and aggression. But the true root of it is transgression. Too much physical affection, ignoring them spiritual lessons. Make the age into children. True ones become pilgrims. Most High reveals them. No shelter can hold this light. Those that still move by sight, supposed to fight that which they can't see. So it's free to release the handcuffs, or is it mental contentment the way to peace? You feel me? T-R-U-T-A, brothers putting down the truth in a true way. Mama's crying, niggas dying, the last days. So we coming T-R-U-T-A.
That's why we spit this. Lit it. From the floorboards to the roof. From the street corners to the mic booth. It's all about that truth, baby. That truth, baby. Now everybody's rolling, got paper cribs and gonads. Frost with the wrong check and that's your ass. I'm just a little Jake with the heart of Joe ass. Straight out of low cast, but no CB4. Arm locked to the throat, head in the yoke. Crispy coat to the bone to lost folks. Living the dirty with no spiritual soap. You sold dope, killed, did dope, gave false hope. Same old stories, dog, I can't cope. You biting, scribing, and writing. We know about the dark, but who's trying to enlighten? I got my mouthpiece and gloves and I'm ready for fighting. Part-time mercenary. If you pay like you weigh, you can break the scales and make my day. Shepherds gathering the strays, visionary x-rays to discern the real from the fake. Straight out the gate, moving at a stallion's pace with faith and grace. I stand firm. You ask and earn.
T-R-U-T-A, brothers putting down this truth in a true way. Mama's crying, niggas dying, the last days. So we coming T-R-U-T-A.
That's why we spit this. Lit it. From the floorboards to the roof. From the street corners to the mic booth. It's all about that truth, baby. That truth, baby.
Unlike the trade winds that carried the slave ships, man born of the spirit that's plucked out the matrix. Sort of like the breeze, no one perceives the movement on the video effects of the smoothness. You've been touched by the gust that rushed over the pyramid. Sandstorm, a man born, instantly transformed. Christ paid the price, then I'm cashing my checks in. Blessed man is destined to be oppressed and roll through the hood with calm man and felons. Drop more seeds than melons when I be billing. Y'all screw-faced and two-faced, the true taste all up in your face like toothpaste. The fool hates wisdom, correction is so previous. Live half lives, despise is so devious. We be just spiritual miracle lyric workers. Here in the flesh, then poof, we disappear like
T-R-U-T-A, brothers putting down this truth in a true way. Mama's crying, niggas dying, the last days. So we coming T-R-U-T-A.
That's why we spit this. Lit it. From the floorboards to the roof. From the street corners to the mic booth. It's all about that. Truth.
Well. Long time no see, huh? It is that time. Friday Night Lights. We're back. We are back, man. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh. This is your brother IQAhmath. I acquire first name. IQ is all the same. Good evening. Good evening. Good Sabbath evening. Right? To all those who are tuning in, please wipe your feet. I know y'all know what time it is. We're gonna have some late night stragglers come on in, man. So we're gonna have some evening time hijinks, prophesying the truth, putting in this word. Come on in, y'all. I know it's a little off schedule. I haven't done a Friday Night Lights in a while. But it's that time again. It's that time again, man. Praying everybody as well, man. Shabbat Shalom to Bayan, Kohath, the brothers up in Pacific Northwest, man. UZL, Malachi, man. Shalom to y'all. Naftali, shalom to you. Oh, there go my sister. What's up? Raya? Raya in the house. Shalom to the house, Sarata. Hopefully everybody's doing well, man. I'm just have y'all file on in as usual. File on in as usual, man. Anybody else, man, that ain't up, didn't take your naps, man, catch it tomorrow. I don't care. Just catch it. You dig what I'm saying? So it's all good. It's all good. I know I threw some of y'all off. Some of y'all waiting for me to come on tomorrow. You kind of got used to it. Sometimes you got to shake some things up. I'm trying to see who's really awake, who's really following along with the program and everything that we dropping, the seeds that we planting. Just making sure that everybody's watching. All right. So, long story short, man, we got some stuff to talk about this evening. I'm gonna try not to be too late. Like I was telling one of the brothers earlier, I got to get used to doing Friday Night Lights again. So don't expect some 3 hour live tonight unless the Spirit says you going 3 hours. I don't give a damn what you thought you was gonna do, and that's how the Most High always works. That's how the Most High always works. I say one thing and He does just the opposite, man. So we're gonna move in the Spirit. We're gonna move in the Spirit. Let's see what time it is. Let's open up with a few scriptures because I wanted to kind of compound the fact that everything that we talk about, we deal with, is according to the word of the Most High, man. It's got nothing to do with the individual. And as we see everything unlocking and showing itself to be true in these latter times, then it can only be through the word of the Most High that all of these things are coming to pass. This can't come by the word of man. When we're talking about end time plagues, you're talking about famine and pestilences, you're talking about wars and rumors of wars, you're talking about particular nations that are teaming up together. You're seeing the whole spiritual essence of America being shown to be spiritual Babylon and spiritual Sodom. You're seeing them coming up out of the depths of the seas, meaning out of the nations, being that fourth and final beast, the so-called white man revealing who he is, the son of perdition, all the wickedness that we're seeing. It can't come through the will of man. It has to come through a higher power, man. An intervention in the spirit where the Most High has delivered his word to men to deliver it to the children so it can be interpreted and understood. Let's look at this. Let me make sure I'm sharing. Oops, I'm moving too fast. Hold on. Let's do it that way. All right, here we go. So just a couple of scriptures, man, to be reminded that everything that we read about, everything that we're witnessing in the earth, give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. He's the one who scripted it. He's the one who prescribed it, all for our deliverance. It's all for the children of Israel. It's going to be dark. It's going to be dark before we get to that light. But as long as we stay focused on the light, man, we keep the commandments, we're doing what we have to do, keeping the faith in Hamashiach Yahushai, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. So let's look at it. Jeremiah 30, verse 1 and 2. It says, the word that came to Jeremiah from who? From Yahweh. Jeremiah didn't come up with nothing on his own. So he's the one that gave the word. Thus speaketh Yahweh, the power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in the book. So everything that we get, everything that's been revealed by the prophets of old, the ancient men of the Most High, all received it from the Lord. What did he tell Ezra? 2 Ezra 15, 1 and 2. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So the Most High didn't lie. He said in I believe it's in Numbers, the 24th chapter, he said he's not a man that he should lie. So as well as he put down them curses on our butts and said, you know what, 15 through 68 of Deuteronomy chapter 28, if you break my law, statutes, and commandments, all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. He was true to that. He didn't lie about that. We're going to see about some of these curses, man. Children being taken and stripped from us, thy sons and daughters be given into another people, eyes wanting and longing for them all the day long, and no might being in our hand. Brother rising up against brother, having an evil eye. Deuteronomy 28:54. We know about the slave ships. We know about the particular curses. The Most High said he's going to hit us with the botch and the plague. All of these things, the Most High said, I ain't lie about that. So why would he lie when he says there's going to have to be a third war? There's going to be civil unrest. There's going to be famine, plagues, pestilences. There's going to be betrayals of one another. I mean, all kind of madness is going to be happening in these last days. But he said all that's got to happen in order for the children of Israel to be delivered. He ain't lie about the first half. He damn sure ain't lying about the second half. We got to stay faithful, focused, and true to what the Most High wanted. Because what he say? Cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So we have to have faith to apply what's being written on these papers. Hebrews 11 chapter, the Most High told us that. Verse 6. This is a faith-based movement that we're in. A faith-based opportunity for salvation. You got to believe. We've got to believe in what's written in order for it to come to pass. Manifestation can only come through our faithful belief. Hebrews 11:6 says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. You cannot, we cannot, I cannot please the Most High unless I faithfully do so. How do we apply that faith? Let me get one more book open. And this is easily understood in Revelation 14. And 12, it says, here is the patience of the saints. We all know the saints being Israel. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Hamashiach Yahushua. What's it mean to have the faith in Christ, man? Understanding and knowing the gospel that he brought, the good news that he brought, was salvation to Israel through repentance, the power of the Holy Spirit coming to the apostles and the men of the Lord, Acts 2 and after Acts chapter 2. The power, the spirit of prophecy, which comes from Christ. All those things come in cahoots together. So it says, here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High and the faith of Yahushua. So if we don't have those things in those orders, we can't please the Most High. Don't fool yourselves. I mean, Christians, our beloved brothers and sisters, man, who are just completely ODing on religion, they think that going to church every Sunday is enough. You see them nowadays, man, they scrambling around there out on the corners like roaches, trying to be like the Israelites, man, trying to evangelize out on the streets, trying to be competitive, to no avail, trying to copy the blueprint and seeing if they can get out there and compete with brothers out on the street. You cannot do it until you repent, until you keep the laws, until you start abiding by the ways of our ancient forefathers and foremothers. They can't do it. They think they're pleasing the Most High. I mean, look at the Jehovah's Witnesses. They faithfully go door to door, holding up comic books, asking you, do you know Jehovah? They'll go sit at bus stops and sit on corners like mannequins. You know, the ones on the street corners, man, they don't even speak. They just sit there and talk with each other all day. And then you got the ones who get up off of their butts and they go door to door. And about 80% of them are women. I mean, how are they pleasing the Most High? They're not even keeping any particular order that the Lord laid down. But they sincerely believe they have the faith. But it's lacking what? The commandments. Without those things, it's impossible to please the Most High. It says, for he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is. We can't doubt. We have to believe that he is the Almighty Yahweh, the omnipotent power of the universe, man, our creator, our Father. As we say, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Holy is his name, and he's our Father. Not everybody else's. Our is a possessive pronoun, man. Our. Not everybody, anybody, whosoever. That's a prayer that is solely based upon the faith of the Israelites. It says, if you come to the Most High, you got to believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. That's a key word, diligently. All gas, no brakes. I mean, we know that Satan is as a roaring lion seeking about whom he may devour. We know that he doesn't take no breaks. He diligently seeks after souls. He diligently seeks after making men and women stumble. He diligently works in manners of confusion, lies, witchcraft. So in like manner, we have to match that same energy, move diligently towards the Most High. Because he said the words that he wrote, faithful and true, and came from holy men. Let's look at Revelations 1. And yeah, verse 11. Now, you know what? We'll read 1, then we'll drop down 11. It says, the revelation of Mashiach Yahushua, which the Most High gave unto him, to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. So this is the revealing or the revelation of Yahushua, which the Most High gave to him. And what did he tell John, who was on the island of Patmos, banished for what they considered sedition? He was on like a prison island. He's receiving revelation, receiving vision from the Most High. And what did he see? Verse 11, saying, I am Alpha and Omega. So Yahushua is talking to him. He says, the first and the last, and what thou seest, write in a book. And we know further verses down, 13 through 15, he described what he saw. He saw Yahushua, dark-skinned man, white woolly hair, red eyes. But why are people running around here talking about nobody seeing Christ? You ask him, what did he look like? I don't know. Nobody's seen him. He was all colors. Oh, he was olive. Oh, he was white. No. Christ said, everything, including me, that you see, write it down in a book and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, unto Ephesus and unto Smyrna and unto Pergamos and unto Thyatira and unto Sardis and unto Philadelphia and unto Laodicea. So everything that we're seeing now, man, the Most High wrote down and he gave it to us in a particular order so that we can learn about it in these days and times now. So everything that we're seeing now, we're going to look at on these current events in a second, is all ordained by the Most High. The Most High said everything that's written is faithful and true. We got to have identifiers, man, when we're seeing about our enemies, when we're seeing the things that they're doing to our people, when we're seeing the corruption that's going on, when we're seeing the wars and the rumors, everything that we're seeing, the Most High said, man, take note of it. It's all faithful and true. It was already prophesied. Everything that we got. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which was planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Let's look down here. I just want to drop down. A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Now I ask you, what time do you think that we're in right now? Are we in the time right now that we're, peace is on the earth right now? Is everything great? I mean, verse 7 says a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak. You got to pick and choose the times and your words. It's one thing, man, I noticed too. And why am I talking about this stuff right now? Because I noticed this personally, things are amping up. Last week I talked about, some entity tampering with the congregation emails, right? Now this morning, I get a notification from Facebook saying your post has been taken down. You violated whatever their community guidelines are. You reposted something that was against community guidelines. The funny thing is I didn't post nothing. I didn't post anything. I didn't I didn't repost somebody's post. So somebody utilized the my Facebook account and try to post something in my name, and I didn't even do it. I the only thing I post on Facebook really is our classes and our video. Outside of that, sometimes I'll help promote something, or I might make a little post. The only reason why I really had the Facebook open is to share our videos, and it's an outlet for some of y'all that's on Facebook can communicate with me through the messenger. Other than that, I don't post on Facebook. I'm not in that world like that no more. And somebody used my account. So I say that to say, man, if y'all get anything coming from me on Facebook, man, if it looked like some folly, it probably is. It wasn't me. I even reached out to Facebook and asked them, like, what the hell's going on? What are you talking about? I posted something. I ain't post nothing. Is my account been hacked? Asked me if they responded to me. You already know they didn't. You already know they didn't. So let's get to the business at hand, man. Let's get to the business at hand. So Satan is at work. I say that to say, man, Satan is at work. Keep your eyes peeled, man. Your spirits open, because the folly continues. The folly continues, man. Hopefully everybody's solid, man. But why? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. What's up with you, bro? You all right? Hopefully you good, my brother. Hezekiah, shalom to you, right? All right. Without further ado, man, let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right. So on the war front, I always start there. Man. We haven't heard this type of rhetoric, man, over the last, couple of years. In my lifetime, talks of World War III, so often, and by the key players in the earth, as we are now. So headlines say World War III warning as Putin's bold Black Sea escalation could lead to a NATO clash. We know that NATO has been moving towards helping arm up Poland and neighboring countries, Belarus and Russia. They're all tinkering, talking about issues within the border. Um, we've been chronicling that, trying to show and see how much closer is NATO going to get. I mean, how much more is it going to take before NATO actually gets involved? They're doing everything that they can, man. They're doing everything by proxy. They sending over weapons that have been banned and people ain't been using. Nobody's agreeing to use them. Trying to escalate things with Putin so that they can blame him when he bombs first. They can say, "See, it was all him. He's the one that started everything." Just like they did with the regular with the war that they got going on right now. It's always a bait and switch with the whore and the great the great whore and the beast system, which NATO is a part of. So now they're talking about it's getting closer to a World War III warning. Putin had we'll look at the next article. Putin had let off some warning shots in the Black Sea, letting NATO know they need to calm down and back down. Which also lets us know, man, that the Ukraine war, man, that thing is pretty much a wrap. Like I said before, man, Putin is already, establishing his focus elsewhere. As he's been doing the drills with China, that's got America and NATO, biting their nails. Taiwan, China, North Korea, everybody's talking about war right now. But it's unfortunate, man, that our people is too worried about what's going on in the latest gossip circles, man. They logging on to gossip and media takeout and all these other tabloid websites, looking for the latest tea. And little do they know, when them bombs drop, that tea's gonna be spilt all over themselves. Let me slow down. I know it's Friday Night Lights. Let me calm down. Tea's gonna be spilt all over themselves because they're looking at everything that don't really matter. So World War III is being talked about again. Let's look at this. Russian warship fires warning shots on a cargo ship in the Black Sea. Moscow last month scuppered a UN brokered grain deal that ensured Ukraine could get its agricultural produce to market via the Black Sea. Remember that they cut off the grain deal. So, we're talking about famine kicking back in because the grains that come from Ukraine, Africa heavily relies upon it. Many countries in the Middle East heavily rely upon it. So you're talking about really like third world countries, more impoverished nations are relying on this food, man, and they cutting that off. Remember India? India also said that they were cutting off exports of rice. And we've been reading it and showing the prophecies with the third seal in Revelation 6. Ezekiel 4 talking about how there's going to be a shortage of food and us eating our defiled bread in the land of our captivities, paraphrasing. Yahweh Shai talking about there being a famine. So-called white man is conjuring up a new way to reinstitute a new plague that's coming. So he ain't forgot about how effective the last three plus years have been with ushering in new mandatory this, can't do that, stay inside here, 6 feet, wash your hands, all that stuff, all those mandates that turned into laws somehow. He ain't forgot about how effective that was, man. He's not done yet. That's all, very likely back on the rise. We'll see in a minute. I'm gonna keep going through this, and we're gonna see what I'm talking about. All right. So Russia warship fired warning shots with automatic weapons on Sunday in the Palau-flagged dry cargo ship in the southwestern Black Sea as it made its way towards Ukraine, the Russian Defense Ministry said. So Russia standing on this deal that they brokered, that they are stopping the grains from coming out of Ukraine. They try to sneak a little cargo boat up in there. Russia got the firing on them, told them, you can't come over here and get this grain. I told you. That deal is off. We're shutting down these ports. And now this is why NATO's saying, well, hold on. This could be dangerous, We might have to step in. So that's how much closer we're talking about this thing escalating. So Russia last month scuppered a UN brokered grain deal that ensured Ukraine could get its agricultural produce to market via the Black Sea, and Moscow cautioned that it would deem all ships heading to Ukrainian waters to be potentially carrying weapons. Russia said in a statement that its Vasily Baikov patrol ship had fired automatic weapons on the Sukru Okin vessel after the latter's captain failed to respond to a request to halt for an inspection. So, they're not trusting anything that's coming in there to be legitimate. The grain deal and the rice is slowing down. Winter's getting ready to kick in a few months. People are going to be needing the extra food because they're not going to be able to get out and travel because of the cold and because of the weather conditions. Trying to stock up for the winter, that's going to be difficult. Let alone with the prices. That ain't changed either. If y'all notice, gas is creeping back up to more ridiculous levels as it was last year around the same time. It's getting unbelievable. Look at this. I'll be blunt. It's failed, says Congressional Ukraine Caucus co-chair on offensive. So the offensive plans that Ukraine had of attacking Russia, he came out and said the truth, man. It's failed. And what's he say? I think it's time. So like this is in quotes. I think the time has come to realistically call for peace talks. So the truth is there. Ukraine is losing the war. They're talking about calling for peace. But you know dang well, man, the so-called white man knows nothing but war. He's not going for no peace. You crazy? You think he wants to? He's not taking no losses, man. The white man is not going to sit back and say, you know what, Russia, big bad Russia, you won. It's yours. This is the legacy of the white man. This was his blessing. Ezekiel 27. I'm sure like Ezekiel. Genesis 27:38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing? This is the one thing that he is blessed with. One thing that he's going to excel at. One thing that he's going to have an upper hand on everybody else with. And what is that? Hast thou one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. I know I've been saying it. I got to do it. I'm going to do this lesson regarding getting more in depth about the fatness of the earth and how America embodies this particular blessing. And it was a reason why the so-called white man went through everything that he went through to gain and garner this land. From conquering the indigenous tribes that was here, colonizing, going through a civil war within himself, between the British and the so-called Americans, you know, Spanish-American War, the French-American War. He went through it all to get a grasp on this little pot at the end of the rainbow. And there's a reason why it's been reserved from outside invasions, outside of himself. It's very deep about this place. And this is what he got. This is what he got. Fatness of the earth. And not just America, but through America, they get the rest of the earth. The great whore manifests herself, with the 10 horns, 10 heads, 7 heads, and then comes out with this deadly, venomous elixir known as the wrath of the fornication, and opens up the mouths of the nations, man, and makes them all drink. And now they've got control of the earth too. But central headquarters is right here. So it says, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven from above. Verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, and then will I slay my brother Jacob. He's made good on that, man. This dude has a serious bloodlust against Jacob and the descendants of Jacob, the Jacobites, the 12 tribes, hell bent on killing us. If y'all didn't catch it yet, go back and see the Library Chronicles I did about medical apartheid in that book. That's just light work stuff about the biological nature and how he killed us. The illusion of medical practice, that he did on our people. That's why they call it medical practice, not medical mastery, practice. And the guinea pigs and the petri dishes that he likes to slide up under there is blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics all day long. All day long. So here you got the white man. He's talking about in Ukraine. Realistically, they need to start calling for peace, but that ain't happening. They're not giving up. NATO's not giving up. They would rather force the hand, pull a false flag in order to say, you know what, Russia's the one that started this thing. Let's bomb and let's really get into it. They've invested hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine. They're not getting ready to just let that slide. Slow Biden just gave him another like 20 billion. They're not going to say, hold on. Oh, peace now. We need that money back. That ain't happening. But this guy's coming out trying to be realistic. But that ain't going down. Let's continue. Inside the Russian effort to build a 6,000 attack drones with Iran's help. Well, we know Persia, according to the scriptures, is Iran. They're in league with Gog and Magog. And here you see them helping with creating drones. 6,000 drones. They don't even really need it for this particular war. They're building up for the next one. They're building up what this proxy war manifesting itself into World War III. They're getting ready for the next one. 6,000 drones with Iran's help. Look at that. Now look at this. Zelensky fires the head of military conscription in every region of Ukraine following corruption claims that may have seen men dodge the draft. So I've covered this before. Y'all probably have seen it yourselves. That Ukraine has once been documented and probably still has the reputation of being the most corrupt country in the world. Let's see here. Look at this. This is from 2015. Welcome to Ukraine, the most corrupt nation in Europe. Corruption in Ukraine. How much of a problem is corruption in Ukraine? I mean, the list goes on and on. All these different sources, man. You got from the Guardian in the UK, Wikipedia, Al Jazeera, NPR, nationalinterest.org, PBS. Ukraine corruption scandal oust top officials amid Russian invasion. This is from 2021. I mean, now we can put together the connection between Slow Biden and his beloved nature for Zelensky in Ukraine, because we know Slow Biden and his family corrupt as hell, corrupt as all outdoors. Let me see if this will work. Oh, it does work. Okay. So let's look at Sirach 10, 1 and 2. I thought I had to type in Ecclesiasticus. Apparently not. All praises. Sirach 10, 1 and 2 says, as a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So clearly we see that Zelensky is not a prudent man. In the event that we need to define prudent, because we're going to go line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. I want nobody to be left out. So look at this. Prudent, meaning cautious, circumspect, practically wise, careful of the consequences of enterprises, measures or actions, cautious, not to act when the end is of doubtful utility, of probable impracticability. Frugal, economical, wise or intelligent. That's the bottom line. So, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. So, a wise and intelligent man is going to have a well ordered government. We see America is all over the place. You talk about Babylon being really manifested, the land of confusion. I mean, look, Slow Biden is the epitome of what's going on in America. Falling up the stairs, falling down the stairs, falling off of bikes, getting lost on stage, stumbling and mumbling his words, lying, corruption, the list goes on and on. Coke at the White House, weed at the White House. What's her name? The Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. She's doing mushrooms. His son's a crackhead, got a baby mama. He's denying it. Been denying the damn baby. Squatting at houses in Malibu, not paying rent, living like niggas. The Biden family, roaches and rats at the White House. I mean, bottom line, that's not a prudent man. That's definitely not well ordered. He just appointed a Supreme Court justice who doesn't know what a woman is. Ketanji Brown. When they asked her what a woman is, she said she didn't know, and she's a woman. Black woman at that. So-called black woman at that, man. You're talking about well ordered. Whatever that thing is that they got the Secretary of Health is a transformer. I mean, where's the order in that? Is he's running around here dictating policy about medical? Definitely not well ordered. Verse 2, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So no wonder Slow Biden, especially his son, the dope fiend, Hunter Biden, has been busted getting bribery money and payoff money from China and Ukraine. Didn't pay his taxes. Smoking crack on TV, on camera. Laid up with harlots. That's Slow Biden's son. And then you see Slow Biden's, touchy-feely nature when it comes to the young lady, the little young girls. I mean, what is going on? And then you sit back and wonder, well, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So, I think it's safe to say that there's corruption going on in the White House and with Slow Biden. He's funneling all this money over there to Zelensky. Then you've got guys like Lloyd Austin, who's the little ex-military chief, sitting on the chair of Raytheon, who owns the military contracts. They're getting billions of dollars of grants, getting money trickled down to themselves. Slow Biden's getting payoff money on the back end back when he was a VP. Who knows what's going on right now? And now his good buddy, his little buddy Zelensky, got to fire his little military heads in all the regions because of corruption in the midst of a war. So America's out here funding a corrupt nation to fight wars on their behalf, trying to fight and stir up Russia to agitate a World War III nuclear scenario. They're all corrupt. But that's the ways of the so-called white man. He's corrupt by nature, man. Look, listen, he's corrupt. It's all outdoors, man. Psalms 14:1 says, the fool has said in his heart, there is no power, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The white man is the main one saying there's no God. He's the one who has pushed evolutionary theories. He's the one that invented the term atheism. He's the one that runs around and believes that he is God. He wants to, replace salvation with transhumanism, everlasting life. He wants to replace with transhumanism. He's the one running around corrupting books, history, scrubbing out the true depictions of Christ and the holy figures of the Bible, saying that it's him, because he doesn't believe it at all. He believes he is the Most High. They're the ones parading around talking about there is no God. And they're corrupt. They've done abominable works. I mean, who else is running around here talking about that there's two genders, male and female? However, no, there's two. What did he say? There's two sexes. Me and my son were talking about this earlier. Two sexes, but damn near like 100 genders. I mean, what kind of foolishness is that? Oh yeah, there's male and female, but your gender is based upon your sexual orientation. You may be a male, but sexually you're into Lord knows what. And they consider that gender. Binary, non-binary. I mean, that's all abominable works, man. Everything that he promotes, from bestiality, homosexuality, it's all abominable. The foods that he promotes, the things that he likes to corrupt on our plates, all abominable. The works that he does, the lies, the destructive nature that he has, man. It's hard for our people, man, to even think on the terms that he does. The methods of torture that he did to our people, man. I mean, abominable. He said, and there's none that doeth good. You may say, man, I grew up with Tommy, man. That was my best friend. We was cool. And that Tommy's probably just as corrupt as his daddy is. The Most High said, man, there's none that doeth good, man. And if you do think you found a good one, Jessica at the office, she's cool. Guess what? Don't be deceived. Okay. Job 20 and 10. Remember, the Most High said, man, never trust our enemy. He didn't say, sometimes it's cool. Sometimes you can drop your guard. Sometimes you can go ahead and trust him, man. Don't worry about it. It's okay. I know he's got a bad reputation, but you can trust him this time. Most High said, never trust our enemies, man. With him, man, you got to sleep with one eye open. Look at this. Job 20, verse 10. It says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hand shall restore their goods. It's talking about the wicked. Their desire, when you see that white guilt kick in, when you see them running around, want to go hand in hand with you, holding up a white fist, saying Black Lives Matter, all of their white guilt charitable donations that they was throwing at BLM. Remember, BLM was a LGBTQ plus HIV movement. They're funding that. They wasn't funding for no black lives. Ran by three wicked Negro women who refused to bear seed for the nation, who are pro-abortion. I mean, how is that saving black lives? And the white folks run around funding it, starting riots, busting out windows, and burning up trash cans in police stations, all for the sake of how much they love you Negroes, huh? No, they're going to try to seek to please the poor. That's when they try to act good. They try to act cool. Oh, they want to listen to the music. They want to twerk. They want to do everything Jake do, thinking that they cool. Jeremiah 15:11 says, the Most High said, verily, it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily, I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. We've covered this before, man. If they do good for you, man, they help you out. They do a little solid to you, man. Remember, that's the Most High. The Most High is going to make and has made our enemies entreat us well in the time of evil and in the time of our affliction. So, if anything, it's the Most High putting the spirit on them. It ain't their natural nature to be that way. The Lord forcing them to go against nature. Because he just got through saying, man, there's a none that doeth good. Okay? So they're all corrupt, including Zelensky, as he's trying to clean it up. What's going on over there? Okay? Let's move on. So, political leader in Ecuador is killed less than a week after the presidential candidate's assassination. We've been seeing what's going on over there in Ecuador, man. You're talking about the cartels against the government. The cartels has taken out. They just shot one of the cats that was trying to be a presidential candidate. They shot him. Now they just killed another political leader. So if we're talking about the times when there's in 2nd Ezra 15 about there being sedition among men and people not respecting authority, I mean, look around. Look what happened over there in Niger with the whole coup that's going on over there. They're kicking out all the French. They want a new master, but still, they're rising up. 2nd Ezra 15:16, it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. I mean, we've seen that in Mexico with the drug wars going down in there. They don't care if you're the mayor, the president, whoever. They're shooting and assassinating, hanging and lynching, and dropping in vats of acid their own people. Well, for the most part, some of them are Spaniards, who knows? But you get the point. Ecuador, same thing. The unprecedented violence shaking Ecuador claimed the life of another political leader Monday, bringing the number of politics-related slayings within the last 4 weeks to 3, including that of a presidential candidate. I mean, we're seeing the same things going down in Haiti. I mean, look around. When you're talking about wars, rumors of wars, nation rising against nation, kingdom against kingdom, sedition amongst men, not regarding authority. You just seen these little jakes, man, out here ramshacking a Nordstrom. What was it, a Nordstrom's? I think they was out in the valley somewhere. 20 of them, man, all dressed in blacks, stormed the store, smash and grab, left with $100,000 worth of goods. Next day, they went and another group ramshacked the Nike store. I mean, people's not caring no more, especially these youngsters. Let's continue. Barrels of drinking water from migrants walking through Texas have disappeared. Wonder who did that? I wonder who did that. So the migrants is getting sent on these desperate missions, coming to the promised land, the land of milk and honey, because they listening to the so-called white man saying, "You come on over here. I'm going to make you heaven on earth." And we're going to see in a minute what they're doing. But you've got groups that are out there knowing that they're traveling through these harsh conditions and heated weather, especially down there in Texas. They're on a heavy heat wave right now. And even the power companies in Texas, they're telling the people, calm down on the power usage because you're affecting the grid. You might jack stuff up. Let me show that real quick. Okay. One day ago, electric grid operator asked Texans to reduce their energy use. The state's electric grid operator is asking people to reduce their power use between 3 and 8 p.m. Thursday when forecasters expect to see a high demand for electricity. So they're telling everybody slow down during these particular times. That's the heat of the day. High noon is when it's hottest, and it starts baking around 3, and then it's going to start tailing off into the evening. But that's when everybody's cranking the AC, doing everything they can, and here you go. They're telling people, man, slow down. You're going to mess around and jack up this grid, and then you're really going to be messed up. See? This is the second voluntary conservation notice issued this summer by ERCOT, which hopes to lower electricity use and avoid tight grid conditions amid an ongoing heat wave. And in the same heat wave, you got our brothers and sisters, man, walking through, trying to get to America, and they have 55 gallons of water that they were leaving out for people to get. Now all of a sudden, somebody's taking away the water. As one of the worst heat waves on record set in across much of the southern United States this summer, authorities and activists in South Texas found themselves embroiled in a mystery in this arid region near the border with Mexico. Barrels of life-saving water that a human rights group had strategically placed for wayward migrants traveling on foot had vanished. Usually they are hard to miss, labeled with the word agua, painted in white capital letters and standing about waist high. The 55-gallon blue drums stand out against the shrub and grass turned green to a sun-dried brown. So, who's taking their water? Who's putting them in the situation to where they're cursed? Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Most High shall stand against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness and in want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until they have destroyed thee. See, our people going out of the frying pan into the fryer. And you've got these, you got these little Edomite groups, man, running around out there saying, nope, destroy the water supply, man. Let them dry out here, man. Let them dehydrate and bake under this heat and drop dead because they're in need of this water. Why? Because the Most High put the curses on them. But now we're seeing it more in real time. Lamentations 5 says what? Uh, Let's start at verse 1. Remember, O Yahweh, what is come upon us? Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. So we're seeing who's inhabiting our land right now. Right? We're orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money. Isn't that the truth? I mean, we can't take a bath or a shower without paying a utility company. And then you can't drink that water from the tap because it's all jacked up. So you got to go to Sparklets, Dasani, Fiji, you know, what's the one from Nestle? All of them. The earth is damn near 3/4 water. White man has managed to bottle that up and sell it and profiteer off of something that's a free natural resource. We've drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. See, this is everything that our people are going through. So now, when our people's over here trying to find a new way to Egypt, and you've got these little human rights groups leaving out the water, up no. So number one, you're already dependent upon the water from the human rights group, and then you double back and got the devil said, "Go ahead and take it out." And they over there in a massive heat wave, man. I bet you they picking up bodies every day, and they just ain't reporting about it. Look at this. New rules, new crackdown. Law could see drivers hit with 5 years in jail and a $5,000 fine for traveling with a certain type of passenger. What type of passenger you think they talking about? This is beginning in Florida. Now just imagine this. You're and I'm just looking at it in the spirit and looking long term, right? When you talk about that mark in Revelation 13. Those that don't refuse, you can't buy, sell, rich, poor, so forth and so on, right? Now imagine if you're riding with somebody who does and doesn't, and you get stopped and they say, "Well, we need to see your biometrics. We need to check the apps on your phones, blah blah blah." And you say, I don't have that. I don't. Oh, guess what? The person who's transporting you getting locked up, and you for sure are getting locked up. That's just on a long term level, just where my spirit was looking at it saying, man, they can go this far with it. But Florida is saying they're having a new law enacted that's on the table saying 5 years in jail and a $5,000 fine if you got an illegal immigrant in your car. Florida officials have doubled down on a road law that states that drivers can never have an illegal immigrant inside their car. Ain't that some stuff? And you talking about Esau is the illegal immigrant. He's the one who's the illegal alien. Came to this land, colonized, killed, raped, murdered, lied, broken covenants and peace treaties, all to steal this land, kicked out the indigenous people, set them on reservations, gave them biological warfare death certificates with smallpox and poison waters and killing off the buffalo, enacting intertribal warfare, recruiting buffalo soldiers and Negroes to hunt down their own, and recruiting other indigenous tribes to fight against other tribes. And he's got the nerve to say, if you've got a quote unquote illegal immigrant in your car, man, 5 years in jail and a $5,000 fine. If they're in your car. If any driver is found transporting someone who is unlawfully in the Sunshine State, they could face 5 years in jail and a $5,000 fine. This is him cracking down, man, up in the ante on all these particular laws. Because what they're gonna say, oh, they're here illegally, they're over here trying to destroy the country and all this other stuff. Look at safe, man. Okay, there we go. I didn't hit mute. Ain't that something? If the page is freezing up, it might be the internet. I've been having some issues with my internet lately. Hopefully it's still good though. I'm coming in all right. Subsequently got my back. Okay, all praises. All right. Let's get back over here, man. I don't know where I was at. But let me where y'all didn't hear me. But let's get over here to this fire, right? We know what happened over there in Maui. Man. It's a lot more things that's been creeping up outside of that. Y'all, did y'all see this? So I seen a video earlier today, and somebody might have made a video about a TikTok video about this book, Fire and Fury: The Story of the 2023 Maui Fire and Its Implications for Global Warming. And it ironically dropped before the fire. So of course people are saying, hold on, whoa. This is pre-planned. How did this come out? It got published 2 days after the fire, which means they had to be writing it beforehand, right? So obviously, the first thing you got to think about is ChatGPT and AI writing out the book. So here you see Fire and Fury: The Story of the 2023 Maui Fire, Dr. Milestone, Amazon book sparks wild conspiracy theories. Hold on, this page is freezing. Let me get up off of here. So I don't know if y'all seen this, but let's see if this is a little better. Okay. Dr. Milestone's Fire and Fury book sparks alarm for being published 2 days after the Maui fires began. So, of course, people are saying, well, how are they already pushing the climate change agenda when, from what I've been hearing and understanding, that the fires were always a threat because of the trees that's around there and the electric poles that's near the trees. The threat of fire has always been happening over there. They ignored the warnings. I guess it got too dry. One of the power lines ended up, catching fire. Some people saying it was lasers. Some people saying it was arson. I'm not gonna, jump off into those waters because I can't prove either one. However, what we do know is the Most High put the smack down with them flames. Isaiah 29. Let's see in 29:6. It says, "Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and with great noise and with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire." We read another precept last week that said that the Most High said, "We rejoice at the fire of the Lord on the islands." Right. So the controversy coming up about this book, right? How did this book come out so fast? It's already pushing this climate agenda. If they put it out through AI, that would be the fastest way, right? But the thing is this: I looked, the cat that did the TikTok video, he was showing it on Amazon. He's like, yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon, right? So I went to try to see if it was on Amazon. But first, this website, Snopes, this is the main website Esau uses to debunk everything. It's fake news or real news, right? So they said a book describing the Maui fires was published before they started. This is their fact checker site. Here's a copy of the book. People saying, well, how the hell did they get that out there beforehand? And then it's published 2 days after the fires. They say it's false. Of course. August 8th, 2023, massive fire swept across the island of Maui, Hawaii, inspiring various conspiracy theories around the topic. Numerous social media users claim that a book describing the fires was published before they happened, allegedly proving that the disaster was planned. Okay, Maui fire hits on 8/8/8/10. Amazon makes it available. I'm not sharing my badge, y'all. The water bayon. So I was reading Isaiah 29:6, right? Let me get back over to this article and into this actually to the Snopes. So this is the fact checker site that Esau always got the algorithms and the bots and everything already ready to answer every little question that you ask. So the fact check is here. They're talking about a book describing the Maui fires was published before they started. That's the question. Fact check is going down. They say it's false. Okay. So August 8th, massive fire swept across the island of Maui, Hawaii, inspiring various conspiracy theories around the topic. Numerous social media users claim that a book describing the fires was published before they happened, allegedly proving that the disaster was planned. So here's I guess somebody made a Reddit post. Maui fires hit on 8/8. On 8/10, Amazon makes available about called Fire and Fury, the story of Maui fire, the implications of climate change. The book description is the chronicle of the events of August 8th through 11th, 2023. So, of course, they're saying, how are you chronicling from 8/8 to 8/11, and the book is published on the 10th? You still got one more day that you're supposed to be chronicling, and you've already written the whole book. So, obviously, it's got people scratching their heads. Here they go. They say, we purchased the online version of the book on Amazon and assessed whether it included information that could only be obtained during or after the fires, and that was the case. Furthermore, the text has several characteristics often indicative of content produced by AI software, and finding on which we'll elaborate below. So my thing was this: I didn't even finish reading this. I believe that if it was written, it got written by AI or whatever, and it was to promote, a climate change agenda. But Snopes says that they bought the book. So I'm right here on Amazon. Fire and Fury, the story of the Maui. I'm trying to find the book. So go to Amazon. Oh, sorry, we couldn't find that page. The book ain't there. So what book did Snopes buy that they could debunk this whole thing? I'm just wondering, because I wanted to go try to find it on Amazon. It ain't there. They said they bought it and they read it. They debunked it. How they read it that fast and wrote this article? They using it AI. I mean, this is all madness. That's just a side note, right? There's something to think about. Foul play is going on, no question. Look at this. Defiant Maui emergency leader who has no experience in crisis management says activating the island's emergency sirens would have saved no one, as fears grow. Majority of the dead were children left home alone with schools closed. So I've been to Hawaii. I haven't been to Maui, but I've been to other islands, and they do have big sirens on top of poles and all of that, for tsunami warnings. I think they said they had them there since World War II, especially after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And it's supposed to go off loud enough for everybody on the island to hear. They know the alert. They know what actions to take. They go to high ground if it's a tsunami, things of that nature. So this guy was the power emergency management chief, and he didn't alarm anybody about the island being on fire. And he said, "Oh, if I hit the sirens, it wouldn't have saved anybody anyway." So who told him to stand down and let everything burn? Now, I think a couple of days after this, I just seen an article today. He said that he resigned. But somebody told him stand down, man, and don't hit the alarms, man, and let people burn and let the land burn. Emergency Management Chief Herman Andaya defended his decision not to set off warning sirens as the deadly wildfire barreled toward Lahaina. Andaya said Wednesday Hawaiians are trained to seek higher ground when they hear those sirens, which are usually used for tsunami warnings. In the wake of the fire that killed at least 110 people, some are questioning Andaya's fitness for his position. Somebody told him, stand down, man. Don't warn the people, man. Let everything burn up. Why is that? Hawaii resident slams investors. She says are already calling distraught families offering to buy their scorched land while they pick over the ashes of their homes as death toll rises to 99 and hundreds of more are still missing. Esau went over there, man, took advantage of the Most High, burning up that place. They ain't even letting the bodies, the bodies are still cold. And, or I should say warm. No pun intended. And they're already trying to buy up the land, pennies on the dollar. Where else do we know that he does that? I mean, the scriptures tell you about him coveting fields in Micah. I say, man, the white man has no damn heart, man. He is remorseless. He sees the opportunity. He's seeing a great escape that he can get up out of here, get up out of the mainland, go inhabit that place, go build up a whole new set of tourism, go set up his own little bunker islands trying to get the heck out of Dodge. It ain't going to be no escape for him. Micah 2 says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, and they covet fields. And they take them by violence in houses and take them away, so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. So there's a video, yes, a woman's out there, man, she talking about a lot of people on the island that she knows, they talking about they getting all kind of calls from investors wanting the land now. Something ain't right. If Esau they tell the dude, man, stand down, don't alarm nobody, let it burn. We'll pick up the bodies later. You're going to have to resign. We're going to give you a nice little paycheck on the back end. Don't trip. And then we're going to slide up in there, man, and we're going to start coercing the people to give up their land. I mean, he's done that time and time again. I mean, there's all kind of lands that he done took. Lake Lanier down there in Georgia, black community, destroyed, washed over. Look what he did with the levees over there in Louisiana. Destroyed, washed over, came back, colonized everything. I mean, these guys are waster and a destroyer, man, all day long. I think Central Park used to be a black community. That place got washed down and destroyed. He comes in, buys it up. Now he's industrializing it. I mean, it's all kind of places, man, that this guy has done the same old thing, man. Look at Nero with Rome. Nero burns down Rome, blames the Christians, blames Jake, all for more power and control over the empire, and to destroy the Lord's people. It's the same God, man, that committed incest with his mother. So be it far from him to be running over there, snatching up the land after everybody melts down. Oh, another fire. Oh, huge Canadian wildfire jumps a lake. Emergency services hoped would stop it in its tracks. Let me make sure y'all know I'm reading this right. The fire jumped over the lake. This is how you know when the Most High says in Sirach 39 about the spirits being created for vengeance. See, Sirach 39:28. The spirits be created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sword strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail, famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Fire said it's going to appease the wrath of the Most High. When it sends out, there ain't nothing stopping it. They thought that the lake up here in Canada, they thought the lake was going to stop this fire. It says that the fire jumped. I wish I had video of it. Fire jumps over the lake and continues to blaze out Canada. This is separate from the one they just had burning up a couple months ago, smogging out from Detroit to New Jersey and Philadelphia and Washington. There's a whole nother fire that's popping. And of course, white men are going to say, oh, it's global warming. I doubt that. Tens of thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes across several sections of Canada after a series of wildfires which threatened to blanket the U.S. in dangerous smog. So get ready for the smog again. In Yellowknife, the capital of the Northwest Territories, more than 20,000 people have been ordered to flee their homes amid, quote, out-of-control wildfires that now threaten to cut off access to the only highway out of the affected city. So a man shall desire to go into a city and not be able. Thus saith the Lord in 2 Ezra 15. 20,000 people getting evacuated, getting ready to lose their homes. And guess what? When the smoke clears, there's going to be some new investors that come on over there, man, snatch up that land. Meanwhile, there were terrifying scenes 1,200 miles south in Kelowna, British Columbia, after another fire jumped Lake Okanagan and consumed several properties. Let me read that again. Another fire jumped Lake Okanagan and consumed several properties. The infernos, which have come during Canada's worst fire season on record, also threaten to send enormous plumes of toxic smog over the United States. So America continues to be plagued. Toxic smog all over the United States, burning from the fires. Fires are jumping over lakes, all to appease the wrath of him that made him. I remember they had one of the fires out here in California a few years back. They were talking about the fire was bouncing and going across the freeways. That's cold. That's the spirit and the power of the Lord. Look at Slow Biden, man. Looking lost as ever. Swerving Joe. Biden under fire for resorting to multiple no-comment responses on Hawaii wildfire, as critics say there's something real fishy about the federal response to the Maui disaster, killing over 111. Oh, how come there's not a fast enough response? What's going on? When they ask Slow Biden about, can you tell us about your Hawaii trip, Mr. President? He's saying no comment. Look at this woman down here. She's over here in tears because her white zaddy, white savior, she thought was going to be there for her. It's really affecting me because where's the president? Tearful Maui resident demands to know why President Biden hasn't visited. Maybe because he's in cahoots with these investors trying to get that land. He ain't going until they seal the deal. I'm just saying. President Slow Biden is facing growing criticism due to his nonchalant responses to the devastating wildfires in Maui that have killed at least 111. And then he gonna set out this little this little Negroid mouthpiece over here, Karine Jean-Pierre, and she's talking about all the great things that they're doing. We're sending food, we're sending water. The president has responded great to what's going on. Ain't been there yet. People's wondering where is he at. Speaking of the water, Maui news, unsafe water advisory still in effect. They're talking about the water may be contaminated for the fires. There was an article that I seen. They said that the water they was getting from the government was making them sick. Yeah, look at it. Not safe. Government provided drinking water is making disaster-stricken Maui residents sick. They're experiencing fevers, chills, and other ailments from drinking this potable water. You see that? They over there giving them damn contaminated water. And Slow Biden and Corinne Jean-Pierre want to get patted on the back of how much a great job they're doing in relieving people. And the Maui residents are saying, where are you? And Slow Biden says, no comment. I show you how much of a devil this dude is. President Biden is facing growing criticism due to his nonchalant responses to the devastating wildfires of Maui that have killed at least 111. When first asked about the blaze on Sunday, the president told a reporter no comment as he lounged on the water near his Delaware vacation home. His response prompted outrage by Republicans and from even some of the Democratic allies. On Tuesday, Biden cleaned up his language and said he and First Lady Jill would visit Hawaii as soon as we can. I mean, you got Air Force One. You could be there in a matter of hours, as soon as we can. But didn't want to get into the way of recovery efforts as a death toll rose. There you have it, man. Slow Biden at his finest. You know, all the little Hawaiians and everybody was begging for Slow Biden to come in and save them, voting them in and fake voting them in, and just so happy that they got a new devil in charge because the old one was just too obvious. That's why the Most High said, man, it's two wings on the same bird, man. But it's also a saying, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. They both devils. And now you see Slow Biden showing his true colors. Now I got to make sure I'm careful with this. So bear with me, y'all. You know where I'm going. So this new variant is leading scientists to demanding rules from lockdown reimposed on Britain. So there's this new variant that's coming out, BA.X. They're calling it what's the other name they're calling it? The something Reese. Once I remember it, Aries. Okay, they've got it. They got this one coming out. They got this one called EG.5, the Aries, and then they got this other one over in the UK, dubbed the BA.X. Why am I bringing this out? Because already in Britain, they've got scientists coming out demanding that lockdowns be reimposed. But, you know, just when we're getting over cabin fever, just when everybody finally able to breathe again, and you know, the people that took the medical protocols, man, unfortunately, they dropping like flies. They're super spreading and all of that. But hey, he's not done yet. So a new variant has caused scientists to demand that Britain start wearing face masks again. Scientists have suggested that the UK may have to reintroduce lockdown rules after new variant has been recorded in multiple countries. So, need I say more? They're already talking about in the UK, new variant, new lockdowns. Oh, that's interesting. Let me look that up. Brother just sent me this. I'm gonna share this because I'm gonna share something else with you too. So this one is the name of the latest. Of course, named after a Greek goddess, and she's the goddess of strife and discord. A lot of that going on the earth right now. But with this new name for this variant, how many people are going to be willing to go back into the old ways? Even though they said it's the new normal, remember? The new normal. And we're saying, oh, we're back to normal. Like it was 3 years ago. Is it really? But if they reintroduce it, I can see this happening. Strife and Discord, right? And I know y'all know about this one. Hopefully you do. Hopefully you do. Corona Mata and the pandemic goddesses. There's a I think there's a I think it's a saint. Yeah. See that? See, I gotta be careful. I'm a just let y'all read it. Cause you know they love to eavesdrop and try to shut me up. So no question. We can see where the origins of the names are coming from. Right. Main point is though, look, they're getting ready to try to introduce us going back to the the so-called new normal again. Scientists have suggested that the UK may have to reintroduce lockdown rules after a new variant has been recorded in multiple countries. The new variant, dubbed BA.X online, has allegedly been found in Denmark and Israel, although this has not been officially confirmed. The scientific community is split on how to deal with the new variant. I'm so sure. Look at this. Oh, hold on. I'm going to come back to that. Matter of fact, while we're doing it, let's build it. Okay, let's do it that way. Make sure that's everything I want. Oh, put them up there. All right, I think that's good. All right, so Bayan, you and the fam up there, look at this. COVID, got me saying it. There's a DVOX sample in Michigan, first to contain mutations of a BA.X. After expert warned the highly transmissible variant was probably already in the U.S. So they say it's probably already here. They're talking about a sample cases up in Michigan already. And it's only a matter of time. They got it on record with at least 4 countries. They're already flirting around with, lock it down again. Mask up. Get ready. Remember this guy? What'd he say?
We need to be prepared for the next pandemic.
The next? Hold on.
We were not prepared for COVID-19, so we need to do better. And we need to be...
So we wasn't prepared for the last thing. He's already talking about it's going to be another one.
committed to make sure all tools get out to everyone in the world. China's expertise and resources and manufacturing capacities will help us meet those needs.
Remember what he just said. He said China's, let me back it up. China's expertise.
World. China's expertise and resources and manufacturing capacities will help us meet those needs.
Oh, China's expertise.
China's expertise and resources and manufacturing.
Resources and manufacturing capacities, huh? Okay. That's how we working, Bill? Okay. You know what? Some of these are out of order. Let me give me 1 second, y'all. Slack here. I think that might be it. I think it might be it. Okay. Slack here, y'all. Okay. So Bill says we need to be ready for the next one. He said we can utilize China's expertise, their manufacturing capabilities, and their resources to make it happen, right? Here's another article talking about is the UK going to start masking up again? Expert raise alarms as Aries variant cases rise. So that was just yesterday. It's on the table, right? Will masks come back amid the new strand? Here's another one. So don't think it can't come here because that's just how it started the last time. Oh, it's only in China. Oh, it's only in Italy. Oh, you know what? It's over here, but it's not that great. It's not that bad, man. Give us 14 days and we'll be over it. Everything's great. 3 years later, things ain't the same no more. Okay. Now look at this. Exclusive millions of U.S. tax dollars still being sent to 27 Chinese labs. What did Bill Gates say? We can use China's resources. We can use their manufacturing capabilities. What happened with that illegal lab that they just busted up north? What was they drumming up in there? All kind of plagues. And here he comes talking about we need them with their expertise and their manufacturing and their resources. Now you see why the Most High always dealing with Moab, Ammon, and Esau, man. The three stooges, man, are always in cahoots together. That's why the Most High talked about them two in particular being banned from the congregation, especially Moab and Ammon. Said the 9th and 10th generation, forever they can't come around. But Esau always using them, the wash pot of the Most High. Millions of U.S. tax dollars still being sent to 27 Chinese labs. Research facilities benefited from $15 million to perform dangerous and cruel animal experiments despite fears that thing leaked from Wuhan. But they need their help. And they just busted that illegal lab. And they're still sending millions of dollars over there to tell them keep going because we need your expertise and your manufacturing capabilities. Devil's in the details. Experiments including gathering dangerous avian flus from China's wet markets. In 2020, the NIH spent an estimated $140 million on foreign animal experiments. Huh? Look at him. I mean, he's telling us straight up what the deal is. Let's look at the devil over here again, man. When we're dealing with the migrant crisis and everything that's going on, man, with the kids in particular, guess who's stepping up to the plate and been stepping up to the plate to bring the kids into their care? Oh, Catholic Charities. How nice of them. I mean, I don't understand how. Well, I do understand. You know, this is Esau, man, and his defiled nature. Lest there be any profane fornicator as Esau. See, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. I mean, the Lord said, lest there be anybody more profane and much of a fornicator as Esau, man. He loves to get his grubby little dirty hands on some kids. How in the world, with the reputation of the Catholic Church and their background with child abuse, pedophilia, homosexuality, the whole nine, they're entrusting them to take these kids? Slow Biden just stopped the DNA testing to try to link the missing kids with their parents. Oops. See, look at this. Now, how are they gonna find these kids? Biden in familial DNA testing at the border. Biden administration in familial DNA testing. Used to detect child trafficking at the southern border. So now Slow Biden says, you know what? We're not going to use DNA testing to try to link up and find where these children belong, who they belong to. We're just going to traffic them. And we're going to funnel them through Catholic Charities so they can get ran through professionals before they go hit the streets on Fig and everywhere else. You know, this place got to go, man. This is really abominable. Deuteronomy 28. Let's look at the curse. And let's read 32, I believe it is. Yeah. 32. It says, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand. So we got one aspect of the curses, man. Our sons and daughters being given to another people. Look at the foster care system. Look at the juvenile system. Look at the adoption agencies filled with Black, Native Americans, and Hispanics. Right? There's such a shortage on white. This is why the white people gotta adopt Jakes. It's not because they want them, it's because there's a shortage on white babies. And they settle for Israelite kids. Let alone dealing with the slave trade, man, the auction blocks, sending and dividing and splitting up families and children from their parents. Sons and daughters being given to another people. Now they're down at the border, same thing happening. And the one way to track them and try to link them back with their family through DNA testing, Slow Biden says, we're done with that. They're ours now. No might in thy hand. Verse 41, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. We're going to see that in a minute. If they ain't getting sex trafficked, if they ain't getting trafficked, man, and bounced around, they working in factories, pounding out overtime hours, doing grown men labors. And you got 12 and 13-year-old kids, man, operating heavy machinery and all kind of stuff. Joel 3. We know this is dealing with the transatlantic slave trade, but it doesn't stop. Verse 6, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. So not only did we go through a transatlantic slave trade, they're still trafficking amongst children and women right here, getting removed far from their borders, man. Kids getting shipped all the way to Epstein Island, getting trafficked to Europe, getting trafficked all throughout the States, getting trafficked to other countries in South America. And guess who's at the helm of it all, man? The so-called white man. I mean, he is the head of the great horde, man, the great madam. I mean, why wouldn't he have expertise in dealing with trafficking and prostitution, the human cargo? So look at this. GOP lawmakers once praised Catholic Charities. Now they want to defund the group. Some Republicans don't like the work of Catholic Charities and other faith-based groups helping migrants at the U.S. border. It's not because they're concerned about what happens to the children. It's because they're worried about the Catholic Charities facilitating illegal immigration. That's why I just highlighted this little part right here. See, they're playing a distributing role in the inflow and spread of illegal immigration throughout the country. That's why they want to stop giving these charitable Catholic charities money, because they're just concerned about illegal immigration coming into the country. They don't care what happens to the children. They don't care what happens to the to the mothers and to the fathers that end up getting separated from. They don't care about all that. They're worried about good old America getting destroyed because illegals are coming in and taking the jobs and destroying the resources that they thought that they once had they thought was theirs. I mean, you're talking about pure wickedness, man. And here they go, exploiting the children. Look at this. Nehemiah 5. It says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, command the children of Israel. Oh, no, I got Numbers. No, I want Nehemiah. Okay. And there was a great cry of the people and of their wives against their brethren the Jews. And there were that said, we, our sons and our daughters, are many. Therefore we take up corn for them that we may eat and live. Some also there were that said, we have mortgaged our lands, vineyards, and houses that we might buy corn because of the dearth. There were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute and that upon our lands and vineyards. So as our people was coming out of Babylon and we're getting set up in positions of government and authority as we're rebuilding the temple and doing what we got to do, you had some that was bearing down heavy burdens on our people. So they was complaining. And they still had to pay tribute to the king. And it said there was a dearth, meaning a famine. So not only are people killing each other just to live and backbiting on each other, but then they're mortgaging lands, famine, trying to figure out how they're going to eat, how they're going to survive. Sound familiar? You know, you got some of them parents down there, man, is letting them kids go. Selling them at the border, man. Giving them over to cartels and all kind of stuff. There's just some real wild stuff going down there, man. And the white man's over there licking his lips, rubbing his hands together, man, fangs out, ready to take everything and anything that comes along. Look at verse 5. Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children. And lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants. And some of our daughters are brought unto bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards. So the lands have been colonized. Sound familiar? White man then took over Mexico, Texas, California. All was at one point part of Mexico. It's all taken over now. He establishes the border. And now sons and daughters are being brought into bondage, being separated from households, the whole nine. The whole nine. And then they all think that they're coming over here for greater opportunity. Lamentations 4:17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. I seen videos of Northern Kingdom brothers, man, talking about how much they love Biden because they thought slow Biden was going to be their savior. Slow Biden had money waiting for him, houses and cars and phones and credit cards and everything waiting for him. That's the dream that they think is over here. And meanwhile, they're getting utilized as pawns, man, getting dropped off here and there and transported around, dropping them off in Martha's Vineyard, dropping them off in New York, dropping them off in LA, dropping them off in Florida with no place to go. Now we seen the article last week. They're getting ready to round them all up and drop them off on an island off of the coast of New York. I mean, it's unreal. It says, as for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that cannot save us. Our people, they're going to learn the hard way, waiting on these people to save them. Now they're offering up these kids to these Catholic charities. Look at this. As migrant children were put to work, U.S. ignored the warnings. The White House and federal agencies were repeatedly alerted to signs of children at risk. The warnings were ignored or missed. Over the past 2 years, more than 250,000 migrant children have come along to the United States. Thousands of children have ended up in punishing jobs across the country, working overnight in slaughterhouses, replacing roofs, operating machinery in factories, all in violation of child labor laws, a recent Times investigation showed. After the article's publication in February, the White House announced policy changes and a crackdown on companies that hire children. So here they go again, snatching up the children. If they ain't getting trafficked, man, being sex trafficked and being taken advantage of, they're over here hiring him and putting him on cheap labor. And, you know, the article talking about, man, these kids are like 12 and 13 years old. Working punishing jobs, they said. Slaughterhouses, operating machineries and factories and warehouses and all kind of stuff. Dropping them out, man, right here to be slaves. And you know they're getting taken advantage of, man. I mean, where are they cashing these checks at? Where are they going to live? Kids coming over here all by themselves. You know they're getting threatened. Oh, no pay today, amigo. Oh, you don't like it? Oh, I'll call ICE right now. Little kid's going to shut up and keep working. But all along, there were signs of the explosive growth of this labor force and warnings that the Biden administration ignored or missed. Of course he missed it. No, you know dang well he didn't miss it, man. Just like they asked him once he coming to Hawaii, he said no comment or basically ignored the question. Same thing going down. Again and again, veteran government staffers and outside contractors told the Health and Human Services Department, including in reports that reached Secretary Xavier Becerra, that children appeared to be at risk. The Labor Department put out new releases noting an increase in child labor. Senior White House aides were shown evidence of exploitation, such as clusters of migrant children who have been found working with industrial equipment or caustic chemicals. Welcome to America, kids. Oh, look at this. Heart attack hospitalizations at a record level since the pandemic. I wonder why. Heart attack hospitalizations are at record level. Very interesting. I mean, I have my ideas. I'm sure you do too. And don't worry, they're getting ready to come with the next thing so they can continue dropping bodies and coming up with new formulas to poke up in you. Oh, well, while bodies is dropping, kids is getting put in sweatshops, getting trafficked through Catholic Charities, Canada burning, Maui burning, looking like a nuclear bomb that hit it. World War III on the brink of going nuclear. Famine, pestilence, disease, smashing and grabbing, violence all over the place. And the biggest thing that doctors is worried about is, and government officials are talking about, taxpayers should fund a $300,000 uterus transplant to help transgender women get pregnant, suggests an American Medical Association. Can you imagine? 300 racks. They want taxpayers to pay to do experiments to put uteruses in men so that they can bear a child. I mean, if we're not in the Twilight Zone, I don't know where we're at there. And they're saying on taxpayers' money, right? You think that man, this place is wild, man. Wild. I mean, in the time coming after their predecessors, Luke 2, and it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that the world should be taxed. See, it all went to be taxed. Everyone into his own city. So taxings, which is formerly tributes, but now they're dealing with taxes coming from Rome. And look at how America, births itself after Rome. And there they go talking about these taxes, this money that we're collecting. I mean, it's not bad enough that inflation is already breaking everybody. Everybody living check to check. Savings is getting depleted. 401k is getting depleted. They're talking about most people that's working right now feel as though they'll never be able to retire. And they keep coming back with more higher taxes, gas, everything. Now they want to increase some more taxes, man, so they can let the trannies get uterus implants. Didn't we just read about that in Psalms? Let's go back one more time. Let's flash back real quick. Psalms 14:1. The fool have said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works, and there is none that doeth good. Done abominable works, none doing good, and here they are. Abominable works, man. 300 racks, man. Go get the uterus transplant for men. Let me throw up real quick. Hold on. While that's going on, look at this. Thought you were hard left. Rates of erectile dysfunction among U.S. men. It's Friday Night Lights, man. If you got the kids watching, close your eyes, cover their ears. But while they're working on, this is what we're talking about. This is why the Most High said, woe to them that call good evil and evil good, man. When things are backwards and upside down, destruction should happen to anyone who embraces that. While they're talking about getting a taxing for $300,000 transplants of uteruses, meanwhile, the real men are coming up limp. Remember, I've covered ad nauseum about sterilants in the waters, chemicals that's being used to feminize men, and it's running rampant and heavy, right? Now look at it. Thought you were hard left. Rates of erectile dysfunction among U.S. men have nearly doubled to 30 million in recent years. So it's only getting worse. That men are becoming more feminized, men can't, get it up. Data suggests in progressive states are behind the rise. Roughly 30 million men have ED, but sexual health experts say it's much higher. States that fill ED scripts most have older populations and progressive ideals. The number of men seeking treatment for erectile dysfunction has soared in recent years amid what some have described as a silent epidemic. Viagra, the little blue pill, is normally associated with old people, but the most recent figures suggest an estimated 30 million American men now live with ED. Nearly twice as many as in the early 2000s. So from the food, from the water, from everything else, they're talking about obesity. Look at it. Around a quarter of under 40s are though to be struggled. Hold on. Around a quarter of under 40s are, I think it's supposed to say thought. It said are though to struggle. Are thought to struggle to get it up in bed, which has been linked to a rise in obesity rates, poor mental health, and an overconsumption of pornography. Well, there you have it. Obesity, poor mental health, and overconsumption. What do you think was going down the last 3 years, man, when everybody's locked down and sitting in the house all day? Can't get out. They talk about suicide rates was up, depression was up, all these mental health issues was rising up because of cabin fever and people not knowing how to function anymore out in society, feeling like they're locked down, quarantine fever, all of that. Obesity rates, because everybody's sitting at home, you're working from home, you're eating, you're sitting down all day. And then because you can't get out, you can't meet nobody, you're going online, you're looking at Twitter, you're looking at Instagram, you're watching porn all day. The system was working just fine. Everything, and guess what? He's coming back for more. If everything is trending how it looks, it's getting ready to go right back into that situation again. Unbelievable. The mystery of Vivek Ramaswamy, rapid rise in polls. You always got to be careful, man. When they always be inserting somebody out of nowhere. This East Indian cat, man, now all of a sudden he's rising up as the new leader of the Republicans, because they're getting ready to bury Trump. They doing everything they can to make sure he doesn't run again in 2024. As of right now, he's leading all the polls. Trump. The scandalous from Florida, he's dropping off, and now they're rising up, this little East Indian cat. So don't be surprised if they throw him up in there. And then, they ain't going to let no damn East Indian run this place. So he's going to be an easy win for the Democrats if they come back in 2024. But you know, he be talking some stuff, man. He's anti-LGBTQ plus HIV and all of that. You know, he talks some decent stuff in regards to, you know, I guess American ideology. We talking about people being independent and, you know, getting back to some of the standards of breaking away from government controls and stuff. But you know, you always got to pay attention when they go throw somebody up out of nowhere, man. That's how they did. But then again, I mean, look at Obama. Obama came up out of nowhere too, even though he had a little track record over there in Chicago as a lawyer and all that. But you know, he just kind of rose up out of nowhere. Before you know it, everybody talking about yes we can, and he became the Black Knight. You know, so this guy, they trying to push him up there to be the new political puppet. We'll see what happens with him. Look at Esau, man. I mean, if anybody else say this isn't Esau, I don't know what you're looking at. Look at the redness. Look at his shirt is white. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. They talk about yellow being a plague in the hair. I mean, look at this guy. Shirt's white, skin looking like pig skin. Transparent red, blood showing forth through his skin. That's Esau to the epitome. And even further, look at the spirit. Orange County, California judge Jeffrey Ferguson released on $1 million bail after shooting dead his wife in their mansion. And only the white man is going to get bail after shooting his wife. He's back out on the streets. Let a Negro can't go in and you know, steal a piece of pizza without catching a third strike. No bail. This guy goes and kills his wife and gets a reward on bail. Orange County Judge Jeffrey Ferguson has been charged with murder after allegedly shooting dead his wife last week. A judge of all places. Remember we read that in Sirach about as a judge, a prudent judge. I don't want to butcher it. Wise judge will instruct his people. The government of a prudent man is well ordered. As a judge of the people is himself. So, you know, again, we see more corruption going on, man. This dude went and kills his wife and they let him bail out. Did they give OJ bail? I don't remember that. I don't remember. I could be wrong, but it was a long time ago. But I'm just trying to think about cases where Jake then got accused of killing his wife and they ain't give him that same treatment. Anyway, Judge Jeffrey Ferguson has been charged with murder after allegedly shooting dead his wife. Ferguson, 72, was arrested by cops last week after his wife, Cheryl, was found dead near Anaheim Hills mansion. Prosecutors say they recovered 47 weapons from the home and more than 26,000 rounds of ammunition. What was he getting ready for? You want to look at the devil, man? Look at this guy right here, man. Let's say cheese. Look at this guy. Hunter Biden stayed at the White House for 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm not done with Hunter. I'm not done with him yet. Hunter Biden stayed at the White House for 2 weeks after agreeing to since his collapsed plea deal. So he had a plea deal. All them charges he had against him, they was going to get him off with a slap on the wrist. They took the plea deal back. So he goes back home to daddy at the White House, stayed there for 2 weeks. And this was around the same time that they found cocaine. Around the same time that cocaine was found on the premises and the staff were unaware. Oh, so are they saying it could be him? I mean, who knows? I thought he graduated the Rock. I thought he graduated the Ready Rock. He could have been powdering his nose, you know. But he was hiding out at the White House for 2 weeks. All of a sudden, coke comes up, you know, in the White House. Of course, all eyes are going to be on him. He looking like he's, you know, on one right now in this picture. Here's another one. The Panama Canal has become a traffic jam of the seas. This is a whole nother thing. Panama Canal, one of the biggest ports in the Western Hemisphere, is jammed up now because of a drought. 200 vessels are stuck on either side of the waterway as a serious drought cuts the crossing. Ships can't move. The drought has stopped the imports and the exports of bulk cargo and gas are stuck now. So that's impacting many a country because of this drought. They're waiting for some rain. They're waiting for some water to come up so the ships can get moving. They said once the ships, engage and they get in line, they can't move. So they're stuck. There's a whole nother problem that's going on worldwide. A flotilla of ships are stuck on both sides of the Panama Canal, waiting for weeks to cross after the waterways authorities cut transits to conserve water amid a serious drought. Vessels tracking data shows more than 200 ships currently are waiting to transit, a figure that has been climbing since the canal capped daily transits to 32 last month from an average of 36 under normal conditions. So there's a drought going on down at the Panama Canal. 200 ships currently are stuck, can't go nowhere, and they're carrying precious cargo that are going to impact many a country. So keep your eyes on that. More Americans are ending up homeless at a record rate. But Slow Biden says, praise Bidenomics, man, everything is great. Everybody's balling. I can't tell. A big issue, major supermarket with 165 locations is forced to spend $300,000 on security as it battles through $500,000 in shoplifting losses. People are out stealing to eat. Stores are now locking up the frozen food sections. They're already locking up all the deodorant and everything else. They're spending $300,000 in security at a major food store called a Giant Food Store in D.C. Southeast D.C., a major supermarket for, the Jake's living in the hood over there. They're talking about that they might end up having to shut the thing down because they're spending more money than they're not making no profits. They're spending $300,000 on security and they losing $500,000 from shoplifting. So they're already down $800,000 based upon security and losses from shoplifting. They're saying, look at it, an underserved neighborhood could turn into a food desert as shoplifters aggressively target the only major grocery store in the area. The Giant Food Store in Southeast Washington, D.C. has already spent $300,000 on enhanced security after a huge uptick in crime. There are no plans to shutter the location at this time, but community leaders are sounding the alarm. Trayon White, a city council person representing the neighborhood, held a press conference about the issue last week. We had the opportunity to meet with some of the leadership of this giant. The local leader said, as reported by WJLA, what we heard was disheartening. If the article was going on, they were saying that if things continue, they may have to close up shop. So this neighborhood in Southeast Philly, man, they're not going to have a grocery store. That's why they call it to be a food desert, meaning there's going to be a scarcity of food there, and they're going to have to go outside of their community to try to find food. Because Jace is too busy running up in there, stealing, trying to eat. Look at this in Proverbs. I gotta remember this one. This is one of the things that we gotta consider. You know what? Let me just read the whole thing. Proverbs 6. Sucks. That's what all my numbers like. It's tripping. Proverbs 6, right? And let's read 30 and 31. It says, men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. So the Most High always had something in line as far as mercy is concerned, man. You see somebody down on their luck, you see them stealing because they're hungry, they're trying to feed their family and whatnot. I remember seeing a video, there was a sister, she got jammed up at the grocery store. she's whining and yelling. You know, she's hungry. Her baby's hungry. She's not gonna let her baby starve. She had to steal. She had to do it. The Most High said that nobody despises a thief, man, if you're stealing when you're hungry. A lot of these jakes, man, are stealing because they're greedy. They ain't starving like that. They're taking advantage of light, you know, catch and release laws, no cash bails. You know, like I said, I seen a video of a sister, man. She was loading up the trunk of her car with a shopping cart full of meat. Most of it looked like swine with her wicked butt. But just, you know, going above and beyond. But if somebody's stealing because they hungry, man, they got a legit case of starvation. The only way they can get something, they swipe something. Most I said, okay, you're not gonna be despised because you're hungry. You got that. But if you get caught, verse 31, but if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. So if he gets caught, you got to make good on that sevenfold. So that means you broke. Hey, you got to go back, go work it off. Come back and volunteer till you pay it off sevenfold. If he's give the substance of his house, you got something in the house that you can you know redeem and say, look, I stole this. This should be, you know, I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you this bike. It's to be worth more than the 2 sandwiches that I stole. Whatever. That's how the Most High said we got to get down. But people are over here stealing to the point to where they're getting ready to lose one of their major grocery stores because Jake's is just out of control. Some are stealing because they're hungry. A lot are stealing just out of greed, I'm sure, and opportunity. Either way, it's going to be bad news in D.C. if they close this supermarket. Look at this now. Gunmen and robbers. This is the new lick, too. Gunmen robbed 6 L.A. taco trucks and stands, the latest in a string of street holdups. So in L.A. now, this is the new thing, too. I mean, you can't go nowhere in the streets now, especially in the evening, that you don't see some Northern Kingdom cats posted up selling tacos and burritos. If it is either a food truck or they just on the corner with lights and the tent up and got the flat top grill and all the extras with the coming out the coolers, setting up shop, getting busy. Now I'm sure these Jakes, I don't know if it's Southern Kingdom, Northern Kingdom, but they're running down on these vendors, man, robbing them now. Because they're over there making money. And Jake figured this is an easy lick. Gunmen robbed at least 6 taco trucks and street stands on Wednesday, the latest in a string of more than a dozen such holdups across LA, the police said. Now, don't let this be Southern Kingdom robbing Northern Kingdom because they're going to immediately turn it into racist. It's racial. Oh, blacks are robbing Mexican vendors again. And now it's going to turn into a whole nother race war, Northern and Southern Kingdom. So that's a whole nother issue that's going to arise if it comes out. It could be Northern Kingdom robbing themselves. Who knows? But this is another thing that desperation now is rising to higher heights. Communities in Hollywood, Echo Park, downtown LA. I mean, these vendors, they're all over the place. They're everywhere. Like I said, you can't drive more than 5-10 minutes without seeing somebody posted on the corner cooking, trying to get some money. So that's the new thing out there, man. Be careful out there. You entertaining. Jake's is jumping out, robbing everybody at the damn taco trucks and stands now. Oh, look at this. AI can now steal your passwords with 95% accuracy by listening to you type. I need to take note of this. I mean, from the last couple of incidents I've had dealing with internet and all this other foolishness. This is the back doors, man, that Esau allows in when everything is encrypted and held into one particular bubble of technology. Now he's got his AI creeping around trying to steal passwords. Researchers have found an AI-driven attack that can steal passwords with up to 95% accuracy by listening to what you type on your keyboard. Just listening. This is out of control. Cornell University researchers trained an AI model on the audio recordings of people typing, and the AI learned to identify the different sounds that each key makes. They tested it on nearby phones, integrated microphone listening for keystrokes on a MacBook Pro. When the microphone picked up the sound of a keystroke, the AI model could identify the key that was pressed with 95% accuracy. The team took it further by testing the AI's ability to crack a password by listening to a Zoom call. So when everything goes biometric, when everything gets locked in and it's all password sensitive, go against the system. Go against the beast, man. He'll get AI, man, to tap in to our accounts or whoever's accounts, corrupt everything, steal all your resources, steal every dang thing, and have you all jacked up. I mean, we talking about the devil here, man. Couple more and then we're going to close out. How safe is your bank? Fitch warns it could downgrade dozens of U.S. firms, including J.P. Morgan Chase and Bank of America. Also, we were talking about all the smaller banks getting hit. Now they're talking about even the bigger banks are facing downgrades in their reliability. The banking system, they're trying to collapse that as well. I mean, it's just so we're getting hit and bombarded from so many different ways. Now we got to remember about the banking system because they still want to create a new payment system. They still want to create a whole new method of control as far as finance is concerned, buying and selling. They got to collapse a lot of these smaller banks so they can all be conglomerated into one particular payment system, a digital payment system that everybody's going to be accountable for. So now they're coming after the banks, or not now, they're continuing to come after the banks, but now they're naming even the bigger banks. Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup, all of them are now getting hit upside the head with their ratings. Okay, this is the list of all the banks and their grades. Global warming, huh? Tropical storm Hillary is forecast to hit LA on Sunday with winds of up to 80 miles an hour. California's first potential cyclone landfall since 1939. We read about the most high storms and tempests in Isaiah 29. California, my brothers and sisters that's out here, man, y'all already know. Buckle down, get ready. I already got text messages from my internet and power company talking about be prepared, might be outages come Sunday. All kind of madness is going on, man. So cyclone landfall of rain expected come Sunday. It should be interesting this weekend. So pray for your brothers and sisters, man. Make sure that everybody stays safe out there. Who knows if it's going to be as bad as it says, or it could be even worse than what they're saying. We don't know, but pray for the protection and the safety of everybody, man. That's could be affected by what's coming this way. All right. So surprisingly enough, we got that coming down. Yeah, that Pimp C. I like that. Yeah, imagine that, man, Naftali. Imagine that, man. Going right into the hands of the enemy, man. Gonna drop them babies off, man, with them. They're gonna say, man, don't worry, Papa will take care of you. You're in good hands. Hey, we can't do that, man. It's against the law. Remember, the scripture said, man, we gotta drink our water for money. They don't let us collect rainwater. That's against the law, I believe. Let me make sure it's still a California law. Let me see here. Oh, looking like they may have raised up a little bit. Hold on. You might be onto something. Not really. You know, when you're dealing with Esau, man, there's always a catch. Let me back up out of there, man. That one was freezing up. Is it illegal to collect rainwater in California? If you're on a homestead and living off the grid, you're going to need a water supply. Now, if you got blah, 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 blah. They're just talking about how to. So, is it illegal to collect rainwater in California? No, it isn't illegal to collect rainwater in California. As long as the rainwater is coming off your roof, it doesn't end up going into a state water supply like a stream. You can collect it. As far as legal restriction go, the federal government. What the hell? All right, see, I can't mess around with these damn websites. I don't know. They're saying that you can as long as it don't interfere with uh, California, you know, sites that have their state controlled water supplies. I don't know, man. Last I heard, we couldn't collect rainwater like that. But who knows, man? Yeah, sure, that's all possible, man. You know, they got HARP, they got weather manipulation going on, man. Geoengineering. You know, a movie that they represented that, man, is a movie called Geostorm, where they came clean about, you know, the technology that they got after they denied it for years. But you know, who knows, man? Who knows? But you know, as usual, man, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, man. Praying for my brothers and sisters, man, who got to deal with the madness out here with this little storm that's gonna come through. But you know, I know the Most High is gonna preserve and prepare all of us accordingly. That's why we always talk about being prepared. You know, if the lights go out, if you ain't got to go out, you got to make sure you got some food and some water in the house. If you do got to go out, make sure you got some gas in the car. You might have to make sure you put some gas in that car Saturday night, because who knows? I went and got gas today. I could tell people was already trying to prepare because damn gas stations was packed. Everybody trying to go, you know, gas up because they know it might be difficult getting out, getting some gas, or don't nobody want to be out there with winds whipping and rain sliding all over the place. People trying to stay off the streets, so they don't want to get no gas then. But if you do got to pack up and run up out of there, man, you better make sure you do have some gas in the car. But who knows? Yep, leach tablets definitely work. They got affordable water treatment tablets out there. But you know, Most High is gonna be the number one thing that we look towards, man. It'll be all good. I got no doubt about it, man. So all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High while you have a shot, man. Make sure that you've wiped your feet on your way out if you didn't on your way in when you came in. Always remember, fear the Most High. Keep the commandments, man. Stay locked in the spirit, man. Lord willing, see y'all tomorrow on the Sabbath class. I'm out of here. Shalom.